I want to talk about the slap heard around the world. I'm not even going to use the book to tell you about it. I'll just tell you what she said. She says that there was a whole lot that went on behind the scenes that you are not privy to, and she just doesn't have the time to say it. But you should know that she didn't actually think that Will had hit Chris. She thought that it was like some kind of bit that they were going to do. And, you know, it totally hurt her feelings when he came after her about her bald head, but not for her, for all the people who suffer from alopecia. Because, by the way, she'd been suffering for it from some time. Now, she hadn't bothered to tell anybody about it, and she'd chosen to shave her head because it was an agreement between her and God that if he chose not to have her hair grow back, she was good with that. And so, even though her hair was growing back sometimes and sometimes it wasn't, she just started taking to shaving her head because, you know, she was showing submission to God. Now, nobody really knew she had alopecia, and of course it doesn't really look like she has alopecia because there doesn't seem to be any apparent bald spots on her head. It looks always like she's just cut it short. So you might not realize she has alopecia, but she does. So note that. So for him to come after her like that was a low blow, but I mean, he'd been giving low blows to her for a while now. Now, she would also like you to know that there's like big time beef between her and Chris and have been since the 90s, but again, can't get into it. Now, when it happened, she and Will were not together. In fact, she wasn't even planning on going to that awards show with him. But then he extended the hand of friendship to her and was like, hey, why don't you go? And so she was like, okay, fine, I will. So she goes to the awards ceremony. Chris makes his joke. She rolls her eyes because she's like so over it with him. Like, of course he had to go there, you know. But, you know, it wasn't like a big eye roll. It wasn't like a big deal or anything. And it definitely wasn't a dog whistle to Will to get up and start doing something. He did that of his own volition. And, you know, she thought it was a joke. But then when he came in, sat back down and then started screaming about, you know, keep my wife's name out of your mouth, then she started to realize that something might not be right here. Now, she never really knew why Will did it. That's never become clear to her. There was a lot of people there and nobody told them to leave, so that's why they just didn't leave. But there was also a lot of people there who came and consoled her and like asked her if she was okay, and she like just really honestly didn't know if she was okay. Basically, what it showed her was that Will was just going through a really hard time and that she was just gonna have to learn to love him through it. And she wasn't really sure what the hard time was, but you know, like again, they're ride or die. So Will's going through a thing. It just made her love him all the more because he was showing himself to be a human. You know, before she wanted to tear him up and eat him like a werewolf, but now that she saw that he was broken and but a shadow of a man, she could learn to love him again. She says, the holy slap taught me the importance of learning to love Will and his shadow, how to continue to love myself through so much misunderstanding and vitriol, and how to love you, dearest reader, no matter what your thoughts may be concerning me, Will, our family, our marriage, or the holy slap. You have a right to think it all, and I will love you anyway, because you are lovable and worthy too, by the decree of the divine. Blessed be, so it is, thy will be done. I find it super scary when people say thy will be done, when they say it outside the context of the Lord's Prayer, because God forbid people's will be done. People's will is crooked and perverse the majority of the time. Anyway, that's the end of the book. I should have read that one first before deciding it was something I could even begin to talk about. It was, by and large, the worst. But you know what? Now that we're done, we can move on to Brittany. And we are moving on to Brittany's book.